going into that January, was there that talk maybe of potentially maybe moving on because you weren't maybe getting the game time? I think you played in the FA Cup, you scored. We'll get onto that shortly. But was there a period in maybe a Christmas time where you maybe thinking potentially could be moving on?
Yeah, well, obviously, I was still, like I've mentioned before, involved in the national team, and I was obviously not playing as much as I would have liked at Town, and then I'd go to the national team, and due to not being match fit, I wasn't getting match minutes there, and there's kind of a lot of talk in the Australian media at that time about me not getting the opportunities, and am I still going to get selected for the national team, and these types of things. So it plays on your mind. For me, playing for the national team was probably the most important thing to me at the time. So I wanted to rectify the situation, and obviously there's a few ways you can do that. You can either knuckle down and try and earn your place, or you can, if you think that that's going to be fruitless, you can look for a move. And the way it all kind of happened was quite quick. So I remember there was in the short window in January that they have in the A-League, I had, there was a few whispers or a few things kind of going around where, my old team wanted me back, and it was not something I was looking at that seriously. But then, after a few months of probably not getting the minutes I liked at Town, one day I kind of just thought, you know what, I'm going to lose my spot in the national team here unless I do something about this. And I was never a player that was too interested in going on loan, because I always thought that, for me to play good football, I needed to be really settled off the field. And obviously every player is different like that. And going on loan and the short-term nature of that was not something that ever appealed to me. So that was kind of something that my whole career, unless the situation got very desperate, I was always going to avoid. So, the fact I wasn't getting the minutes I liked, and that opportunity kind of came up. And I remember going into the office and having a pretty frank discussion with Mick McCarthy, and I just kind of said, look, this is the way I see it, and he just said the way he sees it, and we shook hands, and that was kind of it. And there wasn't any negativity, or there was kind of an understanding from both sides in the way that unfolded. So from my end, yeah, that was kind of it. There was nothing else to say about it, really. And obviously it's a shame. I wish things worked out differently, but I don't blame anyone for that. Or there's no negative memories of the town, of the club, or of the area, or anything like that. It's all just, like anything, it's all about timing and right place and right time. And for me, that just wasn't the case. And that's as simple as that, really.
Yeah, pretty much. And yeah, sort of setting the record straight, because there's all those stories out there, style of play, homesick, and all that sort of stuff. I think the homesick one is interesting because, yeah, you've been in Holland the last 5 years. And of course, when you left Town, you went to Brisbane, then you went back, went to sign for Cyprus. But that's should we sort of squash that? There's no homesick part of that?
Yeah, I think that's not the case. Like you said, I lived overseas for 5 years in a country that spoke a foreign language. So if I was going to be homesick, it probably would have happened there, I suspect. But no, it was purely footballing reasons, really. And obviously, from a footballing perspective, going back to my home club in Brisbane, that was, I'd been there and I knew the lay of the land, and I was moving back home after a long time. That was obviously appealing, but it wasn't the reason for the decision.